Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I hope you guys are doing great. I'm here in Sydney, Australia, and today I'm in my home. So I wasn't actually planning to make a video today, but yesterday I posted a video about Christianity. It was, it was a bit critical of Christianity. And after I posted that video, this morning when I wake up, I saw a comment. Now I couldn't respond to that comment on the YouTube. Like I don't know why, but I got that comment in the mail. And that is why I decided to I decided to make this video. So I'm going to read it out. I will try to put a screenshot somewhere later on, but I'm going to read it out. I guess my problem is the last part of your notes. Is it a true path to Lord and divinity? Like that's what I wrote. What if humans are never supposed to be a divine, a divinity, or even in proximity with a divine? What if your job as a human is simply to live your best life, except that there are not explanations for certain things? Be good to other people because they are on the journey with you and then you die. Is that so hard? To me, it makes life much more precious. Christians wish their life away in some certain instances. They are taught to hate their bodies, hate their minds, and to pine for the next life, since these ones so terrible. There is a line in the book, The Color Purple, where one woman tells another, "I think it pisses God off if you walk by the color purple and not notice it." But that is, in fact, what most religions do. Now, that was the comment. Now, the last part, I haven't actually read this book, The Color Purple. And so it says that I think it pisses God off if you walk by the color purple and not notice it. So it sounds like the religion is imposing itself onto the life of normal people for apparently no reason. Actually, it is very true. What else religion does other than imposing itself when it shouldn't be? Which is what I totally agree. But the first part, what if humans are never supposed to be a divinity or even in proximity with the divine? What if your job as a human is simply to live your best life, except that there are not explanations for certain things? Be good to other people because they are on the journey with you, and then you die. So this part sounds like atheism, which is what I want to address today. Now, this is exactly what actually atheists believe. Like, why the hell do you need a god, right? Why on earth do you need a god? You don't need a god for anything, right? I mean, you just live your life, you just be good to other people. And in fact, that is, I believe, it is the principle of Buddhism as well. Like Buddhism does not actually have a god. It is a set of principles by which you live your life, like be good to other people and do good things, those kind of things. Again, I'm not very familiar with Buddhism, but that is because that is what some of the principles of Buddhism is. And it is actually a model of life in many cases for many people. But I used to think the exact same way, but recently I have problems with atheism. I don't think it is true, and that is exactly what I'm going to talk about today. So why do I think that atheism is not the right choice, or it isn't actually a true model of life? Why do I think that way? Well, I read a book like a couple of years ago. It is a book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. It's a very interesting book. Like it is one of the number one bestsellers, I believe. And that book actually starts off with a very interesting line. It says that thoughts are matters. Thoughts are matters. it is very true. Like, it is absolutely, absolutely true that thoughts are matters. When you think about something, that thing manifests itself in reality. That is what it says. And then when I read about, like, this book wasn't about religion or philosophy or anything. This book was about success, right? It is called the Bible of Success or something like that. But then when I read books on religion, I found the exact same thing. And the philosophers that I'm referring to right now is Swami Vivekananda. He is the one actually who opened my eyes to religion. Swami Vivekananda is an Indian philosopher, and he is the reason why I believe in God. Now, what exactly does it mean, right? What exactly does it mean? Like, knowledge. Now, this book was written about in 1860s, 1870s, something along those lines, more than 100 years ago. So he talks about knowledge, like everything that you see, everything that has an existence. Like, think about a tree. How does the tree know what it has to do? Like, if you look at the tree, it grows, and then there is fruit. That fruit, out of that fruit, there comes the seed. Within that fruit, there is seed. That seed drops onto the ground, stays there for, like couple of months or couple of years, whatever it is, waits for the situation, waits for the right circumstances to appear. Like, you can leave the seed for quite some time. I mean, if there is no right circumstances, the seed will not sprout. But when the circumstances are there, when the right circumstances are there, it knows that, okay, this is the time. This is the time I will sprout. That is when that seed sprouts, and then it grows, becomes a tree, right? So how does this seed knows it? That it has to wait. It has to wait. It has to wait for the situation, the circumstances to be right. How does it know it? And again, every existence has a condition. We here right now on this planet Earth, there are many conditions for our survival. Maybe we are not aware of it, but there are conditions. If these conditions change, like the virus and bacteria, these are conditions of our survival, isn't it? We have a coronavirus that is killing people. Again, the conditions have changed. If these conditions change, our survival will be jeopardized. So our body somehow knows that, okay, this is the right situation, this is the right circumstances for survival, and that's why it survives. It takes the element from the environment and then uses those elements so that it can survive, so that it can sustain itself. So how does this body know? I never told my body, I never told my face, I never told my eyes, so now is the time to look. Every cell of my body has intelligence, right? Every cell of my body, or anyone else for that matter, any existence for that matter, has its own intelligence. Where does this intelligence, where does this knowledge come from? It has to come from somewhere. It has to come from somewhere. The earth is moving around the sun. It has to know that, okay, I have to move, right? If I don't move, if let's say that the earth doesn't move, tomorrow morning the earth is like this, it's not moving, not even an inch, right? What's going to happen? Do you think this life, the human or animals or plants, will they exist? They will die, because the right conditions are not there. For the survival, there are conditions. Whether we are aware of it or not, but there are conditions. Without those conditions, life will not be sustainable. That means there is a certain level of intelligence going on here. Where does this intelligence come from? Where does it come from? the whole universe, the cosmos, right? The cosmos, the solar system, the sun, moon, everything is operating in their own ways. Where do they know that, oh, this is how I should do it? Where do they know? Where from do they know any of these things? How do they know any of these things? Obviously, there is an intelligence. And from somewhere, this intelligence is coming. Now, obviously, you can't see it. Time, I give you this. Time, space, and causation, right? Every existence, everything that is existing on Earth is bound by time, space, and causation. Right now, I'm making this video. There is a time. You can define this time. The space, my body, whatnot, right? My shape is in space. My entire surroundings, space. And causation. There is a cause. If I am hungry, I'm eating. There is a cause, right? If I'm talking because I need to speak to someone, I'm making this video because you made a comment. Time, space, and causation. We are bound by these things. Every existence is bound by these three things: time, space, and causation. But God, knowledge, isn't bound by time, space, and causation, and that is this knowledge that is precisely we are calling as God. Is not bound by time, space, and causation. It doesn't matter if you, like, the end of time, knowledge exists. Knowledge never dies. It doesn't matter if it was yesterday or today. You haven't found the knowledge, is up to you, but knowledge exists beyond time, beyond space, beyond causation. That is what we're calling as God. That God is infinite. We are not talking about we are finite, right? We are finite. But when the question of God is coming, God is infinite, and that is what knowledge is. That is exactly what knowledge is. Knowledge exists whether you find it or not, whether you uncover it, whether you realize it, doesn't matter. But it exists. It will exist after the time. If time, let's say the clock stops tomorrow morning, knowledge will exist. Knowledge will exist. It doesn't matter whether creation exists or not, but knowledge will exist nonetheless. Whether creation, time, space, and causation, whether these things exist or not, it doesn't really matter. Knowledge is there. Knowledge will exist. Creation requires certain conditions, as I explained, like the tree and the seed. It requires certain conditions. There are certain conditions for survival of the elements, for creation, for like existence. But knowledge does not require any of these things. Knowledge does not require. So when the atheists are saying that, oh, God doesn't exist because I can't see it, I don't need it, we are referring to a knowledge. You don't need the knowledge. That is fine. You can live without knowledge. Animals are living without knowledge, but that doesn't mean the knowledge doesn't exist. Knowledge exists. In fact, if I may elaborate, if you deny that God doesn't exist, your body, like the knowledge, your existence, you are actually denying the intelligence, right? Your body, your existence is a sum total of intelligence. You are denying your own existence. That is why I don't think atheism is true. That is why I think atheism is not the right model for life. Because without knowledge, creation doesn't exist, and without creation, you don't exist. Right? Without creation, you don't, like, if there is no creation, then where am I? I am part of creation, time, space, and causation, right? That is what creation is. So without knowledge, creation doesn't exist. And the same way, without creation, you don't exist. So if you are denying that, oh, God doesn't exist, that infinite intelligence doesn't exist, you are actually denying your own existence, which is contradictory, which doesn't make any sense, at all. So I don't think atheism is true, and that's why I don't really agree with your first part. I hope this answers your question. And there is another part, right? I mean, if you look at, like, what is religion? We will discuss religion in a broader terms later on. think about this as an ocean. When you look at the ocean, I think you mentioned something. My laptop is not showing up. Anyway, you mentioned something like, why is it so hard? Like I can't read it. You mentioned something like, why is it so hard? That there are explanations, that there are certain things that you can't explain. Why is it so hard? Now, the problem with that approach is, first thing is you are denying your existence, and second thing is you are denying your purpose, right? What human beings are capable of, you are the only creature that is capable of learning, that is capable of knowing. What is your purpose? Your purpose on earth is to know, that knowledge, the knowledge for which you exist, the knowledge for which you exist. That's why, and that knowledge is within you, it's not outside you. Like some religions preach that, oh, you have to, like do these things. But this knowledge that we are referring to as believers, this knowledge is within you. Because of that knowledge you exist. Your job, your purpose in this material world is to know that knowledge. Think about it this way, like an ocean, right? If you look at the ocean, what do you see? You see water, right? You just see water, but you don't see what is inside that water. Like, well, I won't be able to see anything. But if you go down, if you take a deep dive into that ocean, then you see all the beauties, all the interesting things, like animals. They're like elephant, like the highest, the biggest animal on the surface, on the ground, is an elephant. But if you take just a little bit, if you go just a little bit deeper into the water, there are huge creatures. They are far bigger than animals. I mean, they're far bigger than elephants. There are mountains bigger than Himalayas. All these intricacies, all this sophistication, as you go deeper into that ocean, right? I think that the same analogy comes from Think and Grow Rich, the book that I mentioned. That it has a line that more gold has been dug from the mind than from the earth, which is absolutely true. More gold has been dug from the mind than has ever been from the earth, or possibly could be from the earth. And this is like very true. So if you think about knowledge, you have to search it within, because that is why you exist. Your purpose, your existence is this knowledge. So if you are denying that, why is it so hard? It is hard because then you are denying your calling, your natural calling. Your natural calling as a human being is to know that knowledge, the knowledge that makes you survive, that makes you come to this earth. So if you are saying that, we don't have to do that, then you're actually denying your purpose as a human being, and obviously you are denying your own existence. I hope this answers your question, and thank you very much. I really loved your question, and with that being said, I will catch up with you. If you have anything else to know, obviously, like you can write in the comments, or like write an email or whatever. And I will catch up with you on the next one. Bye for now. Thank you.